Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. How's everybody?
Good morning, Professor.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Naomi. Good morning, Angelica.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jody Ann. So I see nine people. Yeah, I guess, but one right before I came to collaborate, I checked the head count in the um, uh, discussion board, and there were like 10, 11 people. So I think one person is still missing. I mean, we have 12. 12. That means 11 actually, because excluding myself, right? 11. So do I have? No, I have only nine. So two still need to join. I hope you have noticed. Also, the email alert went out. Uh, I After I posted the results, right? Quiz one results in the assignments folder, right? Has everybody noticed this? Um, Quiz one results with attendance as of October 12th. I mean, as of October 12th means, obviously, that includes, that means, I know the attendance, I have the attendance record of October 12th. So that happened after this class, clearly, right? And also another class, I have the data, attendance data for October 12th, and I have two Tuesday, Thursday sections. So this was posted. That means after 2 o'clock class, 2 p.m. class. But if you so has anybody noticed this? Hmm? Has it, anyone? Anyone has ever checked that file? Anyone?
I haven't, no.
You haven't, Jody. Okay. We have an anonymous caller, so I don't know, but total number is 10. So one of our one of our classmates is joining through the phone. But if you, I want you to download it, and I'm gonna show you. I have already downloaded it, so let me open it from this one. All right. All righty. So this is the result of the first quiz, and uh, this is, as you can see, and this is four sections pooled data of four sections, and out of the head count was okay. First, let me show you what the weighted average. This is the weighted average, and you understand. You must understand what weighted average is. That's the first thing we did at the beginning of the semester. Simple average, weighted average, right, and geometric average, right. So this is literally weighted by the weights that are set forth in the syllabus, right. Quiz one will have 20% weight, so it's weighted by 20%. Quiz two will be also weighted by 20%, right? Midterm 25, final 25, and the attendance is 10%. And this attendance enters as the raw number because, and this attendance uh, is the result, the accumulated result, the cumulative result of all your attendance points and participation points. So it varies from one person to another. And you guys are section 1101. So if you go to that, let me first close this one, close out. If you go to your section, you will know the total attendance points. That's actually attendance and participation. Okay? And it's all recorded here. Basically, you know, and so the weighted average, currently we have only quiz 1 and attendance. But as we go on, we will take midterm, quiz 2, and final. And as the data becomes available, right, then they will be filled in. They will automatically populate. Of course, you know, they won't automatically populate. I will have to input those data there. That's the but you know, it will be downloaded. You know, I can't manually input everything there. Downloaded and, you know, sorted. So this is going to change, of course. You know, as the data, more inputs are there, it's going to change. But currently, the mean of the weighted average is 11.24. So let's check the head count. So 75. Total of 75 people are included in weighted average. Actually, there are more, but these people never attended. Never ever attended. Right? They never ever attended. Not even a single time. So, you know, most likely they never attended the class. So they think they've been dropped out automatically. They might think. No, you never, just because you do not come to the class, it doesn't mean you get automatically dropped out. Right? To drop out, you have to file for withdrawal with the registrar. Otherwise, your record is still on the roster. Your name is still on the roster. It will never go away. And then there are people who, out of 75, there are like, you know, 26 people that didn't do quiz 1. Unfortunately, that's what it is. That's the reality. Despite the pre-announcement, the announcement was made a week ago, at least, and with, you know, plenty of time to remind yourself. The instruction is there, the announcement is there, with plenty of time to remind yourself. Some people didn't bother to remind themselves, or maybe, you know, there could have been some emergency. They didn't, you know. But, you know, unfortunately for these people, you know, that 20% is missing. But they are, you know, actively in class. Look at this, you know, attendance data. They are actively in class. Only, you know, these people, that means, you know, just one attendance. Just one attendance. It's been, you know, how many weeks? Right? At least, you know, 7-8 weeks. 7-8 weeks since, you know, this is the first week, right? Second week, third week, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8th week. It's been 8th week. These people attended just once. But still, there is record of attendance, so I cannot just, exclude them. These people can be excluded because they never attended. Most likely, these two people will never come back to class, and low probability also for these people. 2.223. That could be, one attendance and probably, some participation or some lateness. But the point is, well, that if you are one of these people, if you didn't, do homework 1, and all the more reason why you need to do all these chapter problems, all these practice. If you've done practice problems, and if you're doing chapter problems on Connect, right? I've made other chapter problems visible now, and they will be, as you can see, currently only chapter 2 and 4 are available, but chapter 5 it will open up, right? It will open up on October 18th, and at each scheduled date they are going to open up. And do these problems, do these practice problems, and all of them, average of all of them will be used, average of all of them, the ROI practice problems that you did that were not on Connect, non-Connect and Connect practice problems, they will all, the average of all of them will kick in and fill this gap, right? So you'll have at least something for this. Of course, it can only help only one exam. I mean, if you have more than 2 exams missing, then it can only help one exam, and I will use it for the one that has more weight. Okay, I can apply it to only one exam. So let's say if you have quiz 1 and midterm missing, then I can use that at the end of the semester. I can use all of the average of the practice problems. I can apply it to only one exam, but I will apply it to the midterm because midterm carries more weight than quiz 1. Okay, but then quiz 1 will still be 0. It will be because it's missing the data. Okay. So looking at the, as I said, for the weighted average, the head count was 75, mean was 11.24, and the maximum was 21.72. Min 0.17. This person that had only one attendance, nothing else. But quiz 1, mean was 73.71, right? Maximum was 100, minimum 36. So at least, people who did quiz 1, this isn't that bad, because considering, let's compare that with the, if I compare it with the spring. If I have spring here. Do I have spring? Yeah. Spring 21. I don't have spring 21 here. Oh, okay. Where could it be? Oh, it must be here. That's 21. Where is spring 21? Yeah. This is spring 21, right? And then spring 21, just quickly checking the quiz 1 for spring 21, the mean was 69.96. So the mean this semester, mean of quiz 1 is higher, right? It was 73 something, so it's higher. Head count, 47 people. This time it was, this semester, how many people? Head count was also higher, right? Only 49, so it wasn't that much. 47, 49. But in considering that in spring 21, I taught three sections only, three sections. So, and the head count for quiz 1 wasn't that high. But at the end of the semester, when I have all of the data compiled, right? The mean was like this. Excuse me. The mean of the weighted average was, and that's pretty much, historical mean, historical. I've taught at BMCC for 20 years, and including, the time I taught at Connecticut and University of Bridgeport at Connecticut, and at Fordham. It's almost like 23, 25 years. And considering the only this fnb100, right? fnb100 over the last 20 years, this is pretty much the historical mean. Sometimes, some semesters is higher. Some semesters it goes up to. There were semesters when this mean was, mean of the weighted average was like 70. That's pretty high. That's that kind of from semester to semester, the difference isn't that much, and even 6-point difference is 10% difference, right? 10-point difference is like more than more than 15% difference, and that more than 15% difference is a huge difference. But there are some exceptional semesters. But anyway, the standard deviation doesn't change that much. But I mean, what I'm saying is, from semester to semester, it can change a lot. But well, of course, we don't have, the standard deviation. If you think about the range was simply between 21 and 0.1, 21 and 0. So this is almost, this standard deviation is like, 1/3 of this, right? 1/3 of the whole range. And then, so if the standard deviation here is about 1/3 of this whole range, then you can say the standard deviation is, pretty much the same. But in this case, the range would be about 90, and then it's about 1/3. So the standard deviation is pretty much, consistent. It's the same, regardless. For the weighted average of this semester, I mean, we have only 2 data series, right? 2 sets of data. That's all. But and in spring 21, spring 21, of course, I have full sets of data. So obviously this will be different, but the magnitude of the standard deviation is pretty much the same, right? Magnitude of the standard deviation is pretty much the same. That's
Professor,
right.
I have a quick
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
For the part that says attend, how much are we supposed to have if you attended every single class up till now?
You mean for collaborate, or I mean, you are supposed.
Yeah.
Of course, you are supposed to attend every
Yeah.
class. Yeah, I mean, but again, you're the anonymous caller one,
No, I'm Angelica.
Angelica.
Yeah.
Okay, Angelica. Um, um, well, you must. Uh, what I'm saying is, in the discussion board, right? You must have your record of attendance. I mean, as long as you have your record of attendance, then you're okay. You get, your attendance is validated every time. Okay. Now, the only reason I'm telling you to attend the collaborate session, of course, collaborate session is the review, right? It's reflection. It's afterglow. Um, and if you are, some people, for some people, watching the pre-recorded lecture videos, that can be, sufficient for some people, but for some people it may not. And then another reason you need to, I encourage you to attend the collaborate, is to earn um, the participation points, right? Because you earn participation points by, answering questions I pose, um, every once in a while, and the effect is quite significant. Why? Because look, if there is no attendance, if there is no participation points, right? Everyone will have same attendance points as long as you have attended every class. I mean, let's say this is 8th week, but of course, with the holidays and things like that, maybe it's so far last at our last count. Um, in your class, for example, how many sessions has it been? It's been 14 sessions, 7 weeks, right? 14 sessions and 7 weeks, right? And so if you have only attended and without any participation points, then that's simply, um, 0.167 times 14. And everyone will have the same, right? Everyone will have the same attendance points, right? If you have attended, every session. But then look at this person. This person's, this person got 4.92. This person didn't get 100 in quiz 1, right? There are like 2 people who got 100 in quiz 1. But although this person got 84 in quiz 1, this person aced in terms of, weighted average, right? So thanks to what? Thanks to the attendance, the participation points he or she got, right? And that's the reason, I mean, this is the chance to earn your participation points. This person got the highest participation points among all of, out of all of these people, right? Also, this person, right? In terms of quiz one, this person wasn't the highest. I mean, or the second place, or there are more people that got higher score on quiz one, but look at this person's participation point, right? So this is how important it is. I mean, once again, yeah, if you did, quite well in the exam, having that, this person obviously um, didn't attend every class, because if he did or she did, then attendance points would have been like 2.388. It would have been like something like that, but clearly not. If only this person had better participation points, then this person would be in the first place, right? So yeah, that is the reason. Okay, that's the benefit of attending the attending every class and attending collaborate session. Okay, but again, collaborate session is not a must, right? But it will help you definitely. Alrighty, so we have now we have 12 participants. Good. So where were we? In our last class, I believe, yeah, I was talking about promissory note, and I think I pretty much explained everything about promissory note. But I told you promissory note is kind of accounts receivable if you think about it, right? But why are these two line items separate? They are separate because this accounts receivable, accounts receivable mainly refers to invoice. Okay, invoice. Why? Accounts receivable is literally payments that you haven't received yet. So payments that you still have to collect. Yeah, this is also payment you still have to collect. But payments you still have to collect is mainly credit sale. Credit sale. So think about it. Credit sale can happen under two circumstances. One, when the buyer initiates the credit sale. In other words, buyer imposes credit sale, which is promissory note. In other words, think about it. As a seller, you don't prefer promissory note. You don't. That's least preferred payment modality. As the seller, you prefer cash. But the buyer paid with promissory note, and what choice do you have? Can you say no? And in B2B, it's a practice, I mean, it's a common practice to pay with promissory note. But even if you don't like to receive promissory note, saying no to that is like, I'm not going to do business with you anymore, right? And you don't want to irk, or you don't want to irate or irk the buyer, especially if the buyer is a big industry player, right? Like Best Buy is a big retail giant. Of course, Dell is a industry giant too. But having think about it. Best Buy and Dell, manufacturer and retailer, are in a kind of, they are like allies, right? Allies. And having one more ally is always better than having one less ally. And you don't want to lose this ally by, robbing them by irking them, right? So even if you don't like it, you'll have to take it. So this is a credit sale imposed by the buyer. But then there's a credit sale imposed by the seller. Okay? So usually it's like this. Usually the parts and components, right? Part manufacturer, part suppliers. So Dell is producing, 10,000 units of Model X, 10,000 units. So that will be, each unit is, selling for $300, right? Selling for $300. Of course, that's manufacturer's price. That's the price that's the price that applies when they sell to a retailer like Best Buy. And Best Buy will, of course, mark it up. They will sell it for 400 or at 500. But so Dell has a plan to produce 10,000 units of Model X. Then there will be 10,000 parts. I mean, each part, 10,000 units of each part needed. 10,000, for example, 10,000 keyboards, 10,000 mouse, 10,000 flat panel screen, 10,000, chips, 10,000 motherboard, 10,000 CPU. So let's say, there is this keyboard manufacturer, keyboard. So they will, ship 10,000 keyboards. When they ship it, they don't get paid right away, right? What happens is, basically, a manufacturer like Dell will have a like 2-year or 5-year supply contract with a particular keyboard manufacturer. It's not like they buy from different manufacturers every time they have a production plan. If they have a production plan, because if they do it every time, then it will take time. I mean, they cannot promptly, or they cannot expeditiously produce 10,000 units in time for sale. So they have, if they have to research the suppliers, for every production plan. So they have, so not to go through all that hassle, they have, a long-term supply contract for 2 years or 5 years, at least for 2 years. And then thanks to, it's a win-win situation, because Dell will have a stable and steady supply at the right time, always, without any delay. Steady supply of parts at the right time. It's called just-in-time inventory. Just-in-time, right? Just-in-time for production schedule. You have this inventory of parts ready there. And also for the parts supplier, they have a steady stream of order for 2 years or 5 years, right? So normally, they benefit each other, and for that, they supplier gives some, discount. I mean, uh, for this long-term contract, 5-year supplier contract, um, they get like, Dell gets like, 5% discount or whatever. So there is no benefit to both sides. So it's a win-win situation. And then, and they're basically, the computers, their computers are online. So if they have, automatically they will be notified, right? When Dell has a a production plan for 10,000 units, that is automatically the supplier, keyboard supplier is automatically alerted. So they will ship 10,000 keyboards before, just in time for production. And then when they ship it, it's not like the driver collects the check, right? It's not like they get they get paid right there. No, driver doesn't pick up the check for the company. The driver just drops it off and just delivers the invoice. An invoice is basically what? Invoice is the claim to payment. We have delivered 10,000 units of keyboard, so you owe us invoice amount. This is what we are billing you, right? Invoice amount. Let's say $1,000, right? Or whatever, $10,000 or whatever. Invoice amount. So that invoice, the Dell has that invoice, copy of that invoice, and the keyboard manufacturer also has that the original of that invoice, right? And the just like the promissory note, usually the invoice has maturity date, pay within 30 days or pay within 60 days, pay within 45 days. Usually, I've been telling you, although theoretically it can go up to like 270 days, but normally it won't be more than 60 days. And most companies, most businesses will try to collect it within 45 days. Okay, but another thing, one thing that is different, just one thing that is different from promissory note is that on invoice there is no interest, of course, because I'm the seller. The seller is sending the invoice. There's no reason I should put interest on that, right? So actually, it is worse than promissory note. I mean, promissory note is better. At least promissory note has interest. But for invoice, since there's no interest on it, I am, for example, if it is 60 days, I will be without the money for 60 days, which is simply foregoing the interest for 60 days. Isn't that right? If I had received the cash right now, right there and right then, I could put it in the bank and earn at least the going rate, the market interest rate, right? But in case of invoice, there's nothing like that. So waiting 60 days is a stupid thing. So what happens? So they, just like the promissory note, they take it to the bank. Who takes it to the bank? The seller, right? The seller takes it to the bank and negotiates the sale of this invoice with the bank. Of course, they sell it, but they don't get the full invoice value. They get it discounted. Just like the promissory note, the bank is doing a service, right, for this company. what kind of service? They are taking over the risk, right? Taking over the risk from this company. Risk of, default. Of course, a company like Best Buy will hardly default, but, it's possible. I've been telling you, big industry giants like, Evergrande, they were at the, brink of default. And they are constantly, every week, every day, they are, they just barely stave off default after default. They are barely staving it off every day. And if you don't have enough cash flow, you will default. That goes without saying. And repeated defaults, you go bankrupt, right? So these accounts receivable are, once again, invoices. And in my main lecture, I explained the difference, why it's called factoring. I mean, selling the promissory note and invoices to the bank is called factoring. Why? You might wonder, because they discounted by some factor? No, not because of that. I explained to you. It comes from the French word facture, which means, invoice. And I explained that in the main lecture. In many countries of Europe, German-speaking areas, their invoice is, the word is different, but even in Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, the invoice is factur. That's Czech is Slavic language, so is it also something like that in Russian? No, I checked, but in Russian, no. But somehow in Czech, that's factur. And maybe, in Spanish, Italian, it's something like, factora or factor. And basically, the practice started in Europe, of course, obviously, during the mercantile era, during the era of mercantilism. They used, invoices, and then, they sold it to the bank, and hence the word factoring, right? Okay, so we're out of time. So I will have to stop here. I will have to stop recording, stop sharing, and stop recording. So it's a great, looks like it's going to be a great weekend. So everyone, have a great weekend, and please, make sure you do the connect practice problems that are due, right? Chapter 2 practice problem is already, it's past due, I believe. And there's chapter 4 practice problems. Alrighty, I'll see you guys, okay? Take care, everyone.
Goodbye,
Bye.
Professor.
Alrighty, take care, Angelica and Jody Ann. I will see you guys in the next class, okay? Alrighty, signing out.